Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
But
Yeah.
let's get into Craig and all of the drama surrounding him from this season. It starts out with his friendships with the guys and friendships with the group in general and where things kind of fell apart. The one point that was made that is a good point is like, there needs to be better balance here of like this. I get that you're diving into work. It's great. You've built an incredible company. You're very successful. No one's rooting against that. It's just there needs to be either balance or communication. And that's the thing that he wasn't good at, was relaying what he's going through. Now, from an alcohol standpoint, that's a different topic. It's like if that's harder for you to talk about, understandably so. But as far as what you're doing and why you're shutting yourself off from your friends, it could have been a cordial, simple conversation. Hey, man, I'm going to be MIA for a while because I'm focused on this. Love you, but it's just you're not going to hear from me. Instead of brushing people off, brushing off plans, no longer doing your normal routines with people. Again, if that's the alcohol thing and you need time to figure it out, respect, get it.
Yeah.
If it's that plus other things that you can talk about your friends with, I think that they have a right to know. These are decade-long friendships, longer than that. Like you can at least be like, "Hey, dude, this is what's up as far as the business goes." The alcohol conversation you can save for later, but I'm not going to be around. Instead of just blowing him off and then acting like he's the problem.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that this is how Craig went about it, and obviously
not.
we don't know. I was a little surprised. And look, I know that he's going through a lot with Paige. He's kind of feeling all of these different types of emotions because he's going through a national level breakup where everybody knows about it. Everybody knows the ins and outs. Everybody's talking about it.
Totally fair.
So I don't know what that's doing to his psyche, but I am very surprised that he had an out here. We watched this play out the whole season, and it ended with you guys in the Bahamas hugging it out with Austen. You could have just leaned on that and said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm in a shit place right now. I was in a weird place all season. You guys see what happens now. Me and Paige broke up. Obviously, I was handling things wrongly. It felt good to get that off my chest. I feel like I can move forward now that everybody, my friends, Shep, Austen, they all know what I was going through and what I'm going through. And now we've got a good base to like set boundaries, figure things
Clean
out,
slate.
and I'm going to try to be a better friend. That is the approach that you should be taking now because you gave yourself an out in the Bahamas. Instead, he kind of pulled back into his shell and he's still being defensive about it. You can't do that anymore. You just can't. That's not the stance that you can take anymore when we just watch this whole season. Like, it's a very easy move. Just be like, yeah, we figured it out and we're going to move forward and we're going to figure it out some more. That's all you got to say. And I'm happy to have my friends around while I'm going through this breakup.
Yep.
Instead, he's just like, no, I'm going to isolate even more. And I was right the whole time to do all of these things. It's like, why? Why are we taking this approach?
It was interesting. Like I actually wasn't that surprised, and I agree with you. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot going on, and dealing with the fallout from that. And this is
Yeah.
obviously months ago. This wasn't filmed yesterday, so like I get
Mhm.
it. It's just like it's frustrating because like I like Craig, and I want like Craig and Austen together are fun. As Andy says, you guys are a blast. Like we want
Yeah.
to get them back together. When you have him, Austen and Shep vibing. Like, is Shep an idiot? Yeah. Do I enjoy those three when they're bopping around? I do. They're
Absolutely.
just entertaining. So like we want to get back to that, but there's still this holdup of I don't know. I'm not
Mhm.
exactly sure what it is that he has this hang up on, but it's like, dude, if you could push through this, which we thought you did in the Bahamas,
Yeah.
your friends, they will accept you back, no questions
So
asked.
easily. They've gone
Like,
through so much shit on this show, and they've all done dumb things, and they've done dumb things to each other. It is
mhm,
the easiest group to probably just say, "Yeah, guys, I fucked up. My
my
bad. Let's get
bad.
back to normal." Both of them will look at you and be like, "Sounds good. Can't wait." Look at Shep last year. He looked like a train wreck at that
He
reunion.
was a
We
train wreck.
started off this season. He was blaming Austen and Craig for what was going on in his life because they weren't there for him because they ghosted with the ghosting is I guess the term of the fucking season. They ghosted him after the reunion. They didn't want to talk to him. And he just kind of snaked his way back in because he didn't talk about it. That is so easy to do. And this is honestly a lot of guy friendships are like this, but this is on like a crazy level where they accept so many wrongdoings and they're just like, yeah, happy to have you back. This is great. Fine.
Yeah, high
Whatever.
five. Let's move
Yeah.
forward.
It's so easy.
It really is. But they start talking about Paige and did you see the signs? And, Craig was like, well, where I'm at in my journey, I'm learning to not react to the signs. But,
Hmm.
she stopped coming to Charleston and then she didn't visit the Nashville store. Vidget the Nashville store.
Vidget.
The Nashville store.
A fidget spinner. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Visit the Nashville store because she was quote unquote, and he did the quotes, too busy.
Mhm.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
We will not know the ins and outs of how this shit fell apart. We will not know, and I won't speak on it. I'm not going to say Craig's
No,
right. I'm not
because
going
we
to
don't
say Paige
know.
is right. We have no fucking clue. We're just going to move
Plus,
on
it
from
doesn't
it.
matter. They broke up, so we
Correct.
don't have
It's
to say
over.
who's right or
So
wrong.
there's no point in trying to figure that out. But the ring timeline is confusing, and a lot of people pointed it out. There's clips of him saying that she told him to get one. There's clips of him saying that he
Mhm.
wanted to get one, that he didn't get it yet, that he did go get it. And this one, he's saying that he went and met with a jeweler in New York City, got the ring. It's a 4 carat cushion, elongated something or other, and
Sure.
he has the ring, and he's going to return the. So a lot of people have questions about the ring, and I don't think it's so much about the ring as they're trying to find lies that he's telling.
Yeah.
He's not doing himself a whole lot of favors because of the inconsistencies that are going on, but we get to like Paige moving on with this dude and like the Eagles game guy, and I guess Austen pointed it out on Watch What Happens Live, then he got some shit for that. But it's like that one is a little different because there's multiple sources from multiple events where you're with a guy.
Mhm.
Now Austin's right in saying like I shouldn't speak on it like as far as are they dating or not. But we can all surmise from multiple hangouts you're seeing
Dating?
that's seeing somebody,
That's
correct?
seeing. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
seeing somebody. Yeah.
See, I'm learning. You're
Um,
seeing somebody,
you're seeing
which
somebody. And look, I don't think that she cheated on him. I don't think that there's any
no, she
overlay
did
at
not.
all.
Absolutely not. No,
I
she
think that
didn't.
it was most likely a hey, this and we know this wasn't working out because we watch it unfold on TV, and now we still have so much more to see on Summer House, and we know all of that. So no, I don't think she was cheating on him. She's just the relationship wasn't working. They broke up, and within a couple of weeks, while Craig was still trying to get her back, she moved on. That's pretty
Mhm.
simple, cut and dry.
Yeah, I agree that there's no, not 1 inch of me
Yeah.
believes that she cheated on him. No shot. But
No, I do love the guys on this show are so funny though because they always say dumb shit when they're not supposed to.
Yep.
Like, what did Austen like? Austen probably thought he was being supportive too, which is the funniest thing. And Craig, knowing Craig, he does not want you to talk about this on his behalf or interject at all and go on Watch What Happens Live and talk about what you feel about the breakup and what you feel about Paige dating a new guy. It's just going to bring more light to things that he doesn't want to deal with.
Yeah, but
And
Andy
Austin's like, I'm
knows
going to be a
that, and
good friend.
Andy's gonna
I
ask.
know.
Andy
Of
asked
course
him
Andy's
because
gonna
he's
ask, yeah.
he's shady as fuck, and we love him to pieces.
Oh,
But
he's
like,
the best. Yeah.
yeah,
And he's going to do it because he knows that he's going to get an answer out of Austen. Austin's not the type of guy to sit there and be like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I should talk about that. He's going to look very nervous and then give you an answer for what he believes is the truth. And it works really well for what Andy wanted, but it doesn't do him any favors. And then he ends up getting skewered. And then Paige and the rest of the Summer House crew come out and they're like, I haven't fucking seen this guy in 6 months and he's going to tell me what I'm doing in my life. Okay, great. He opened himself up to all of that. And he knows that he opened himself to all of that afterwards. In the
Yep.
moment, he's like, shit, probably shouldn't have answered that question, but
whoops.
I did.
But speaking of like the Summer House feud, Craig unfollowed Amanda and Kyle because they were getting pissed off that he wasn't defending Paige from these cheating rumors.
Yeah.
I'm on Craig's side here.
That is so funny though, because I've been watching like season 3 of Summer House recently when Kyle like got accused of cheating on Amanda.
You mean when Kyle did cheat on Amanda?
Yeah. Well, this was a different time. Yeah. This was the one. Yeah. Anyway, like there was cheating rumors for season after season with Kyle and Amanda, and it was always Kyle on Amanda. And what did anybody go into the comments and defend Kyle? So like, what are you getting at here? Would you do that? No, Kyle would never do
No.
that. So
No. And it's,
back
by
off.
the way, they broke up and Craig's not out there. This is where I can't agree with him. Like, he's not out there perpetuating rumors. So it's not his
Mhm.
job now. You
No.
know, like Paige isn't answering his text. She cut him off entirely, which again is also her right. Like, I get it.
Yep.
You guys are done. You're moving on. Great. Go do your thing. Giggly
Mhm.
Squad's going to like the Tonight Show this week or something. They're fucking
Yeah.
killing it. So great. Go do your thing. But he doesn't have to defend you now.
No,
That's you
he
broke
doesn't
up.
owe that. He got broken up with.
Yeah. So no, that's
And
not
then
his job.
tried and apparently tried like hell to get back with her in the weeks after, and she wasn't having any of it. He was completely like burnt down to the ground, and you want him to go into Reddit and defend because there's cheating allegations? You're on a reality TV show. Even if you're in the happiest fucking relationship of your life, you're gonna
There's cheating
have people
allegations.
on Reddit saying, I saw him make it out with another girl. You may have not even been in that city once, but there's still going to be allegations all over the place. That's just how reality
Absolutely.
TV works. What do you want him to do? Go defend? No, come on.
Yep. Yep. But you know, it was refreshing to hear him say that he was in love with the potential. And that's what
Mhm.
we clocked, you know, probably
Yep.
last year. It's like you want this to be your relationship. This is
Yeah.
what you want it to turn into, but it's just not going that direction. So for him to get to that realization, I think is big for him to like
Yeah, for
understand
sure.
what he was trying to force is not the thing. And you know, they went their separate ways. And I think that that's good for both of them. But we get to Shep and the boys from this season, and obviously the start of the season at the hunting cabin and the disconnect after last year, them ghosting him. And it gets to Austin, and he's like, yeah, you know, Craig's really good at drawing that firm line in the sand. Whereas,
Mhm.
you know, I could be furious at Shep and he'll call me. And I'm like, oh, this fucking guy, I'm going to answer the phone.
Yeah.
And which is funny because there, you know, there are people like that. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
It's like, I can put up with your shit, or it's like, I'm not dealing with this at all.
Mhm.
So the fact that he's like, you know, I was stoked that we could do the hunting cabin and start getting back together. And they bring up the conversation about Craig not hanging out because of his image, Craig not hanging
Mhm.
out because he doesn't want to be seen drinking a beer, XYZ, whatever. Craig's insulted because I never imagined my friends would take it personally for working on myself. And this is where he loses me. I'm like, you're still
Yeah, I
not,
know.
even after talking to Austen, you still don't understand what this is all about. This isn't about you bettering yourself. Austen, I can promise you, one, after talking to him, and two, after watching his demeanor throughout this whole fucking thing, trying to walk on all of the eggshells as to not piss off Craig.
Yeah.
You saw it too, right? Like, I'm not blind.
Oh, yeah. That's
Like,
what he was doing the whole time. Like the whole vibe was, I'm in a very precarious position right now with this
Mhm.
friendship, and I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to swallow my pride, and I'm going to give the answers that I feel like won't piss Craig off because I don't want him to go even further away. We're working on
Yeah.
it right now. And that comes along with just letting Craig say whatever the hell he wants about the relationship and their friendship, letting him just say and do whatever he wants and not being offended by it, because you can just have to let it roll off your back if you want to be a friend of Craig. And he does. He desperately wants to be Craig's friend. So it's a tough position. And yeah, he's fucking scared.
He admits he's scared, and you can tell he's like throughout this whole thing, he's trying to tiptoe, and like bringing it back to what I said, it's like they're not upset that you're better now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's thrilled that you've grown up and turned yourself into a successful businessman. It's the other stuff that comes with it. And when we get into that whole thing, you know, obviously he talks about his alcohol problem, brings that up, and the talk that Austen and Craig had down in the Bahamas was awesome and powerful. And Andy gives him kudos for that, which he should, because it was a really important conversation. And I'm proud of Craig for having that conversation on screen. Like it's important, especially for people like me in recovery. Like this is how it becomes more normalized, is by discussing it.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Austen takes accountability, which again is not, he doesn't have to, for being like, I should have seen the signs. It's like, no, you shouldn't have, because Craig was working through his own thing and it was his timeline, and that's fine. And Craig was right to not bring it up until he was ready to bring it up. It's the in-between for me that is the issue, as somebody that has dealt with this. They are not all encompassing, right? Like, you weren't pulling away only because of the booze. That was a major, major part of it. But there was also things that frustrated you about the friendship, or you were focusing on your business. And maybe that was in correlation with the alcohol, but you could have had a conversation about where you're at as far as work, what you're doing, why you're not around. Like, it doesn't mean you bail on your friends entirely, but I do respect the alcohol. Like, obviously I respect the alcohol thing in that conversation, but it's just, there's something in the middle of all of that that was missed, that led to this big fracture.
Yeah. The big fracture was pretty much, it seemed like Craig didn't want to invest in the friendship anymore. That's what kind of where it is. Like,
especially after the first converse, just to set it up, and then you go, because like we're talking about the first time they talked when Austen went over to his house, embodies that. Now you go.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much the vibe that I got from Craig the entire year. And like, we know people, everybody knows people who get into a relationship and they disappear. Their friendships aren't as important anymore because they're in a relationship, and they always do this like sugarcoating of, well, I'm really working on my career, I'm really working on this or that or whatever. It's like, you have a ton of free time. You're just hanging out with your girlfriend, you're hanging out with your boyfriend, whatever it might be. That's okay.
It's fine.
You know, if you don't really want to invest in your friendships, but to not sit there and just say that plainly is kind of shitty. And it's going to make your friends feel a little crazy because they're pining for your attention. They're texting you and saying, hey, I'm going to do this. After a while, your friends are going to stop messaging you. They're going to stop hitting you up. And that's what Austen was trying to say. And yeah, emotions were a little thin during that conversation, the first conversation, but Austen just wanted to get a bunch of it off of his chest, and he didn't really care if Craig was going to be offended by it. And Craig was ultra offended by it. Basically kicked him out of his house because he was just saying, I miss my friend. Well, he did say you can swim or you can leave. I still would have swum, because
I would have jumped in and then bounced.
Definitely would have taken a dip.
I would have done a fucking cannonball and been like, I'm out of here, and grab my towel.
Cannonball and just like get water everywhere.
Yeah.
Grab a
I would
towel.
try to aim it at the grill area and be like, nah, and then leave.
Exactly. But at some point, you're going to lose friends by doing that. And I think that's what Austen's really afraid to do that with Craig. But I don't even think that would have the same result. Like, if you do that to Craig and you're like, look, I'm just going to stop hitting you up. Like, you're going to have to reach out to me. You guys won't be friends because Craig is not going to hit you up. And obviously he goes through a breakup. Now all of a sudden he's calling Austen all the time. But that is pretty much how it goes. And you have to either be okay with that or force an uncomfortable conversation.
But Craig's response to that first conversation at the pool was, I felt blindsided. It's like, let's run it back.
No, I hate the blindside. Anybody who ever says they feel blindsided, it's always bullshit.
Well, like, what was the conversation? Hey, man, I miss you.
Yeah.
We don't do things anymore. You're no longer on my call list. Like, I get it. I do feel blindsided by like them talking about you prioritizing your image over everything else because they didn't have all the information. Maybe.
Sure.
Okay, fine. This is not a blindside. He walked to your house, told you how he felt, and said, I miss you, dude. And you said, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't even going as far to call you a shitty friend. I mean, he was saying it in so many words, but he was basically just saying, I miss my friend. And you're like, get out.
And Shep was like, I watched that scene and I could see how nervous Austen was the whole time. And it's like, are you scared of Craig? And he's like, I'm terrified of Craig's temper.
Mhm.
The whole group raises their fucking hand. And he's like, I
Mhm.
had no idea again, defensive. I had no idea you guys
Always.
felt that way. Like, you know, everyone raised their hand.
Mhm.
Take that for what it is. Don't respond. Be like, oh shit,
Yeah.
maybe I need. And I think that his first inkling every time is just defense. Like, I don't even think he
Yeah.
listens. I think it's defense. And then I think he ruminates because that's kind of what happens here
Yeah.
when they go through like the pillows and beer thing and the low ball. I forgot that he lowballed him because there's like
Mhm.
35K to 50K and he offered him 30. I was like, that's dirtier than I remember. I was like, that is
Yeah.
fucked. Like, you said, it's your boy, give him top dollar. Like, that was
Yeah.
the least you could do. But it starts to make sense.
Mhm.
I finally understood the hang up and what the fuck's going on. Because Craig's like, I was frustrated with Austen because he wasn't doing what I thought he needed to do. Like
Yeah.
how I changed my relationship with alcohol and things took off for me. The same could go for him. He doesn't have a drinking problem, but that's my frustration. It's like, okay, fine. I can speak on this one because I don't drink and all of my friends do.
Mhm.
Not everybody wants the life that I want.
Mhm.
I love my life. I love how I do my thing. I love my jobs. I love this podcast. I love that I don't drink. I love that most of my nights I'm at home with Dev and Scotty and Poppy. That's not for me to put on you.
Mhm.
That, like, it's not for me to say, hey, I'm focused on my business and sober. What the fuck are you doing with your life? It's like, that's not fair because other people want different things. If Austen wants to go have brunch with his girl and post mimosas on a Sunday, you shouldn't say, I was really disappointed. It's
Yeah.
not the same path. You just said he doesn't have a problem. And
No,
even if
yeah,
he
that's
does,
insane.
as you know, Craig, from how you handled your journey, when you were ready to discuss it, you did. This is Austen's journey. You
Yeah.
don't get to interject on it. Other people
Which
want different kinds of lives.
look, if he was supposed to be doing a podcast event or something and he wasn't answering and then he posted on Instagram that he was grabbing beers with a Shep, fine. That's fair.
Sure.
Grab
Because that's
mimosas with
work.
your girlfriends with no other responsibilities.
What's
What's
the
the issue?
problem?
I don't really get it.
If
I will
you're out
say,
with
wait,
if
way
you're
to
out with
make it
Julie
about
on a
you, buddy.
Sunday, oh, you go. What?
I was gonna say, way to make it about you.
Did I make it about me?
Yeah, you're like, hey, I love my life. I'm like, good for you.
No, yeah, I do. But my point is, like, I was trying to draw a comparison, and like, he seems to be like, this is the way to live, right? Like, this is how you should do it, Austin.
Well,
I
he's
wouldn't
doing that, and
impose it on somebody else.
he's putting it on everybody else. Yes, and he does
Yes,
that. But even when it wasn't about the booze, Craig would always do that. Craig would always put whatever he felt was best on everybody else. I mean, look at the way he talks to like somebody like JT, who isn't a great person. But Craig would never do the things that JT's doing. So he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And that's an extreme example. But when you're looking at somebody like Austen, who's just having a nice morning, going out for mimosas, and you're like, "What the fuck? I was disappointed." What? It's a different
why?
lifestyle.
He's a
Like, why are you
grown
upset
man.
about that? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It has no bearing on what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, if it was a work thing, like, I get it, but I'm not gonna
Sure.
text you on a Sunday because you're watching a game with Julia drinking a beer and you post it. I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
like, bro, I'm disappointed in you. Like, you should be making reels. What the fuck are you
Yeah.
doing? Like,
What are you doing?
no. Yeah, like, it doesn't make any sense to
I'm
me.
gonna
He's an
send
adult.
HR after you.
This HR thing is taking on a life of its own. We should
It
have
really
a
is.
fake HR account. Somebody, if you
I'm
want to start an
obsessed about it.
Bros and Shows HR account, we will follow you.
Yeah.
But I'm dead serious on that one. But it gets to some of the shit that happened, like some of the shit that Craig pointed out. And this one was fucked up. We talked about it when it
Mhm.
happened. You know, he shows up either hungover or zannied out. It's like, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
Because here's what has
It's
to
fucked.
well, here's what has to happen now. Austin on the stage at the reunion has to say publicly, for the record, I don't have a Xanax problem.
Mhm.
That's not fair to put on your friend because you're pissed
Mhm.
off at him because he's. Can you have frustrations because he shows up hungover to record? Sure,
Sure.
fine. Do you blow it out of proportion on TV and say is a Xanax problem?
You shouldn't.
Not if he's actually your friend. I would never
Nope.
fucking say something like that about you. That's between you and I. Whatever
Yeah.
goes on. That's the baseball rule. What happens in the clubhouse stays in the clubhouse.
Stays in the clubhouse, yeah.
Damn right. Austen starts talking, and I'm glad Austen spoke up, and he got a little bit more emphatic because he's like, look, Craig says these things to make it look like I'm a problem. Or somebody else says that. That wasn't Austen. Somebody else said that on behalf of Austen. I forgot to write down who. But that's when Austen starts talking. That's when he brings up the mimosas, and Craig's like, yeah, I was disappointed. And Austen, you can tell he's just exasperated. He's like, dude, I don't go out. Like, I'll go to Martin's with Rod and grab a drink, and I'm home by 9 hanging out. Like, that's really not my life. It seems like Craig, which is also an interesting thing to note because he has not been around these dudes for a while, is now speaking on what they're doing. It's like, how do you know? You haven't been part of the crew. You don't know how Austen's living. You just see a picture that he's drinking at 12 on a Sunday at a restaurant, a mimosa. And that's an issue for you? Like that, it doesn't track.
No, it doesn't make any sense, honestly. It's hard to even try to make sense of it because it's just so
Madison
far out.
Said it the best, dude.
Yeah,
I think she's dead right. I'm not trying. Didn't mean to cut you off, but like that sums it up. That sums it up. Craig doesn't respect Austen. That's it. I mean, that's really, really because even when that's brought up, and Madison's like, I did say that. Craig doesn't respond. He says, for some reason, seeing Austen drinking makes me mad, which I do appreciate the honesty there. It's just flat out. For some reason, it just pisses me off. Okay, fine, fair. I don't know why. That's something you two need to talk about.
Yeah.
But okay, at least there's a reason. But you didn't say, yeah, of course I respect him. Or I know I'm working on it. Like you just brushed it off. So you don't respect him.
Yeah, tough scene.
It was really tough. It sucked. And, you know, Austen talks to Rod about how he feels, and he's like, Rod, does he share with you that he feels judged? And Rod's like, all the time.
Yeah.
Anytime we're out.
Rod's only moment in the entire reunion.
That's okay. He had a great season. He can take a reunion off. He had a solid year. But Leva jumps in. Leva was funny this episode because everything she said for the most part was right.
Yeah.
But it was just like she would just jump in. Like, wait, I'll tell you what happened. She was right, but it was like that was her only role, was like, wait, let me explain this. Because she goes, you think that you're better than him and that you're more successful than him. And Austen's only line is like, sometimes it does feel like you're in an ivory tower looking down on me. Craig's response, these things make me not want to hang out with you. It's like, okay, time out.
Yeah.
You spend so much time, you have spent on this stage so much time criticizing Austen, criticizing what he's doing, criticizing his lifestyle, his work ethic, his business acumen, all of it. He criticizes you once about criticizing him, and you can't take the criticism. What?
Yeah.
Like, that is so hypocritical, man. Like, he just sat there and tiptoed around things while you came after him a little bit and didn't say a fucking word, except sometimes it feels like you're looking down on me a little bit. And he's like, fuck you, fuck that. No, I don't. Absolutely not. I'm not going to sit here and listen to this. By the way, if that's how you feel, I don't want to fucking hang out with you. We don't need to be friends. It's like, dude, what happened?
He takes it to such a high level so fast. Like his defense mechanism just kicks right in. And it's like, dude, you are impossible to have a discussion with. It's impossible to clear anything up with you unless the answer is, you are so right, Craig. I will do everything in my power to do anything that you want me to do. That's the only friendship that it seems like he wants with Austen. And Austen's not going to give him that, and he shouldn't give him that. So
he shouldn't.
At some point, you're going to have to see Craig change a little bit, and maybe him getting out of the relationship and realizing what reality is now might put him in a better position to be that kind of friend. But he's in right now, and what we saw in the reunion, I think it's much different than what he is currently.
I do too, especially based on what Austen
Watch What Happens Live and what Austen was saying last week. Like, it seems like he's gotten to a better place, and maybe they are working on their friendship, and that's good. I think what we're seeing in the reunion is just a hurt little puppy.
Just defensive.
He feels like everybody's attacking him, and it's like, no, they're just saying how they feel. It's not an attack. It's not coordinated at all. They're just asking questions and responding in a way that you don't really like, and you feel like you're being attacked. So I think he's just like, his wounds are open, and he feels like everybody's coming for him. But no, it's just
they're not. They're just telling you. Yeah, and Austin's like, dude, I've been battling with this. This is
Hmm.
what my issue's been. I'm trying to talk
Hmm.
to you about it. And he's like, why would I continue with this if I'm going to get backhanded every time I step out of line? I don't have that kind of friendship with anybody else except for you.
Yeah,
And that's not a friendship. You don't want to have a friendship like that. So,
exactly.
yes, of course we want these dudes to figure it out. Of course I want Craig to be nicer to Austin. Like,
Hmm.
we like Craig. I like Craig. You like Craig. Like, this is just, and it could be a product of what's been happening recently. Absolutely. Maybe it's the back end of this relationship. Sure. It's just, it's tough to watch him treat Austin like that when
Yeah, I know.
Austin's like, I just want you back, bro. I just want to be your friend
Yeah,
again.
it
And
makes
you
me
keep making
uncomfortable.
it hard. And I don't
And
know how
even
to.
and the hard part is even if Craig was fully in the right for all of his feelings towards Austin, watching somebody else do that and put themselves in that position to try to like beg for friendship, I'm always going to be
It's
on
tough.
that person's side because it's just so sad.
It felt really bad.
Yeah.
And the response, I can't control how you perceive my actions, which I do believe is the definition of gaslighting. I believe that
Hmm.
is the definition. I was like,
Yeah, it
no,
is.
dude, no, 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 no. But Andy tries to bring it all back together with that last night in the Bahamas, and he gives Craig his, like I said, his kudos for being brave enough to discuss it and go into depth. Like, if I didn't stay on my couch, like I was gonna chug a bottle of Jaeger and do stupid shit. And Craig's like, it's weird to talk about. I appreciated the statement from Levo where it's like, it doesn't need to be. You can just say it and then we'll all gather around you. I'm like, that's a great sentiment, but it's not totally on the nose.
Yeah.
This is
Hmm.
something that has to be done when somebody's ready to do it. But
Yeah.
what I did agree with, what I did agree with her, I thought this is one of the smartest things that she's said. She said a lot of smart shit, but I like this one a lot. You have an addictive personality. True. Paige,
Hmm.
work, alcohol, Adderall. Like, we've seen these things where you kind of throw everything into it.
Yeah.
What Shep and Austin do for Craig is force that balance. Hanging out with
Hmm.
these two idiots, and I mean that in an endearing way, but hanging out with these two idiots balances you. It pulls
Yeah.
you back from diving so far into things that you're emphatic about. And that's okay. It's okay to have an outlet in your friends. That's
Hmm.
really important that these guys can get you out of that zone and go out and play golf. Go fucking have lunch, anything.
Yeah.
It just takes you away from your addiction, whether that be work, Paige, alcohol, whatever it
Yeah.
might be. And now that they know you're struggling, now you have a different opportunity with your friends to be like, hey, let's go to the bee farm. Let's
Yeah.
go look at
I think
goats.
it's going to take so much time for him to do that because he's closed off so much of himself to put himself in a better position in his brain to succeed and to get away from all the things that he feels like are, you know, devastating for his life, whether it's drinking or doing whatever. So he's not, in so many words, he's basically saying, like, I don't want to hang out with you guys because you guys bring me back to a time that I was doing all those things.
Which is
But he's not
also
going to come out and
fair,
say that. And that
by
is
the
very
way.
fair. But I think he's going to have to learn to open himself up to see it differently. Like, oh, you guys are giving me like a social balance because I'm going to be miserable if all I'm doing is working constantly. And then I'm, investing so much in a new relationship with a new girl and doing the same things all over again. Like, I need to be able to learn from all of this. Hopefully he does. I don't know if he will, but hopefully he does.
Yeah, and this is where I do believe that his instinct is always to just play defense and attack.
Hmm.
It's like, fuck you. I do think that once he simmers on it, because when he comes around at the end, he's like, look, I will be more communicative about these things and I will try to
Hmm.
figure it out. Like, I heard all of you. I hear what you're saying. And this time he didn't say, but like, I can't perceive how you view me or
Yeah.
what I do. This time is like, I hear you guys. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
good. Sit on that one for until next season.
Yep.
Hopefully we see some growth from him. And like, it's just, there's a lot of uncomfortableness.
Yeah.
Uncomfortability, I believe, is the correct
For
term.
like the end of a reunion too, it seems so unresolved. And look,
It's, yeah,
we did get the three of them on Watch What Happens Live, and they looked friendly. They looked like they were having fun. They look okay. We talked to Austen last week. It seems like they're in a better place. But to watch the end of this reunion and be like, it seems like there's nowhere to go. It seems like you guys are just at an impasse. So they're working on shit. I don't know. I still
I,
think it's set up nicely for next year, though.
I agree. I agree with that. But let's jump into some questions. from K Sparklick, or K Sparkle K, I believe is how you actually say it. Why, Venita? Why? We don't know.
We don't know.
We
don't
really
know.
don't know.
I'm gonna like give myself an aneurysm trying to figure it out. So
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
no. From legally B _ BCF 17, it should have been 3 parts, not 2. I disagree.
Nuh-uh.
I
It should have been one.
It should have been 1.
There's one. This is a one episode.
The second one was a waste of time.
Yeah, love you to pieces, but this is a one-parter. We don't ever do this. I'm going to do this once because we never have. Because people do like part 1, part 2, part 3 questions a lot, and we usually just read one. I'll do all 3 from Paige E. Riley. Part 1. Did you all think JT saying he wasn't a fuckboy because he didn't fuck her felt out of character from what we've seen and make you question whether he did call Miss Patricia a bitch? I was like, whoa, there it is. There's the real JT. That's a really good point. I said that to Dev when that happened. That was part 1, 2, and 3 lumped into one thing, by the way, everybody. I thought it was 3 separate questions. It was just one really long question. That's really interesting because that's the same thing I said. I was like, ooh, that's weird. Maybe he could have said it. I still don't think he did.
I
but
still don't think he did either. No, but it gives us more evidence of
him being a shithead,
of him being an asshole. Yeah, which like he is an asshole, but I didn't think he was capable of that.
I don't think
maybe he is. I don't know.
He might here. I got it. He may be capable, but I don't think he called Miss Patricia a bitch.
Yeah,
but it is with that weird comment, the fuckboy comment. It does make it seem in the realm of possibility that he could say things like that, but I don't think he did say
that. From Jenna Wenzel, did they just skip over the Ryan Barber issue? Maybe I missed that in part 1.
They
did not talk about the barber.
No, they didn't. Oh yeah, what the fuck? This is a shoddy reunion. Shoddy at best. 3 parts. Yeah. Get out of here. That's a good point.
Crazy.
That's a good point. And sorry, we're not picking on you, legally B. That's just that's crazy. I'll do one more. Ooh, interesting. From Chandler Randler, who's getting the better edit from their show, Paige or Craig?
Paige.
I think Paige. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Craig's is a little more neutral. Paige's is definitely pro Paige,
which is funny because a couple of weeks ago I would have said the opposite, but
yeah, it
based on
at the end.
We'll have to see for the reunion, but I just cannot see Paige having to deal with the way that Craig had to answer for a lot of things on this reunion. I don't see Summer House's reunion going that way.
I don't know. I hope it does because I think the difference you'll see is like I don't know actually with where we're at now. Have they filmed the Summer House reunion yet?
Not yet, no.
I think a lot of her responses are going to have to do with current events, like what's happening right now. I think if this was just off the breakup, it's a different story. But now that there's other shit that's been going on, I think it's a different.
Yeah, Craig's was like because they must have filmed that back in February, right? The reunion.
Yeah, it's a lot different.
So it's like a 2-3 months, for
it's
Paige,
still fresher.
5 or 6 months after, so that'll be interesting.
Plus, like with the Amanda and Kyle of it now, and the Reddit shit, and I think
it's going to be based off of what we've seen too, and this doesn't have to go towards what we were talking about with the edit. What we've seen is the Summer House cast is rallying behind Paige, and people aren't getting mad about that, which is weird. They should have the same energy towards Amanda and Kyle talking about Craig having to go defend Paige. They should have that same energy that they had towards Austen and Shep talking about the breakup and talking about how I don't really know. Because, like Austen said it in this reunion, I felt like when we were together and she was there, she would have just looked at both of us and been like, I kind of like this. Why don't you guys just hug it out?
The vulnerable comment. We forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about that. And immediately Austen watches that and sees how she's talking to Madison about Austen. And it's like, so is that actually how she felt? And like that's what we said. We're like, yeah, I don't really like that either.
That was because you know what? You're always allowed to go to your bros and have a bro down and maybe even shed a tear if needed. Men are allowed to be vulnerable too. God damn it.
Sure are.
Yeah.
Get yourself a triple dipper.
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes you just need to hang out with your bros and crush a triple dipper. Yeah. We're not sponsored by Chili's, but
my God, I fucking wish we were.
If any of you work at Chili's in like their corporate, I mean, I don't know if you're a waiter at Chili's and you have a line, whatever,
figure it out.
Tell them that we would love to rep the triple dipper.
Absolutely.
And that's how you go an hour and 15 minutes and bring it back full circle, which we love.
Tell them to bring
do
back
here.
dollar margaritas.
No,
Or
God,
was that Applebee's?
nope. Applebee's is fuck, what was it called? Oh God. Is it a Limerita from
Yeah.
Applebee's?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
They had a deal.
Dollarita.
Dollaritas. Oh God, Dollarita. That was it. The Dollarita. I've had a lot of nights with Dollaritas because of baseball. Dollaritas, and you can get Long Island iced teas at Fridays for like $3.
God, dude. Anytime that a Long Island iced tea appears in front of me, I know it's gonna be a bad day.
Yeah, totally. Same.
Yeah.
They're gross.
Yeah, gross.
They're so gross. Oh, the different kind of booze in one glass. You got anything else?
Good. Nope.
Well, that's all I got. It's our show, bros. Gotta go. Bye, guys.